Well,
Right now.
Right
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to right now.
all right, there we go. Welcome, my friends, to another daily writing motivation stream. I'm your host, Kaufman, and today we're going to try to get some writing in on this holiday, right? So happy Easter to anyone celebrating, and to all our other friends out there. How are you doing today? So, what we're going to do, we're going to do not one, but two writing sprints. We're going to try to see if we can be a little productive on this Sunday, end off the week strong. You know what? Trying to really make sure that Sundays is such a great day to really be able to push through the thing that we've been working on with our storytelling this week. So, welcome to the stream, and let's see what we can do. And then make sure to stick around for the breaks and we'll catch up, we'll chat, we'll see what writing craziness nonsense is on our minds. I might be able to get to the end of this chapter I've been working on. That's my push today. So I'm going to try to get to the end of this chapter. We'll see. So we're going to start off with the first chapter, or not the first chapter, the first sprint. And let me pull my screen up. So we're going to start the first sprint at 30 minutes, try to see if we can make some good progress with this one. Hey, what's up, Tiara? Welcome. And I believe I am all ready to go. What are you working on today? Do you have any cool ideas that you're really been like ruminating and brainstorming on? What comes to mind for this Easter Sunday? I know we had such a great critique stream yesterday, and of course, anyone who missed out, make sure to go check out the replay link down in the YouTube description down below. But let's push ourselves. Let's get into it. I am all ready. So we have 30 minutes on the clock for this first one. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, editing, branding, or maybe just wanting to take a break from all that family craziness on this Sunday, it's time to write now. All right, writing sprint done. Writing sprint done. How did that first writing sprint treat you? Were you able to get some work on your end? As you could see, I actually got in the writing vibe, but then I was taking care of some admin stuff that I had to do. So I had to wrap that up first before I could actually get into my own writing. I might do. Well, we'll see on time. I'll see if I feel like doing another writing sprint so I can actually be productive because I think I'm happy with where I'm at in the Crow chapter. So we'll see. We'll see what's up. Um, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm loving actually where I'm at with Mr. Crow, and then the introduction of Audie the Otter, who's kind of like a Greatest Showwoman type character. What's her name? Autifficus Hawthorne the Third. For some reason, I just thought that was funny. And then we have her companion, the ever dark Lady Skunk. And then we have their animals that they're escorting them to the Coliseum to to help save their captured friends. And their compatriots are a squirrel and two little mice. So it's pretty fun. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now. Let's see how are all y'all doing over here? I saw a couple of you guys hop into the stream, which was awesome. Let's see. Ooh, drowning. What's up? Yeah, I'm working on an original romantasy that I haven't touched in a few months. That's actually super cool. And by the way, I mean we're doing Faded Fantasy tomorrow, so it sounds like romantasy is right up your alley. It's kind of cool to be able to brush off things when you haven't worked on it a little while and kind of see if you're able to like find a new way to frame things or really bring it through some good revisions. Hey, what's up, Maddie? Maddie in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see. Pew, pew. Yeah, drowning. What I would recommend. So the Faded Fantasy Fiction Competition is our next major writing competition. It's a flash fiction. What I would highly recommend is if you want to learn more about it, you could actually check out our announcement stream. It's linked down in the YouTube description. It was this past Monday, and we did the initial introduction. But tomorrow is when the submissions open up officially, and we're going to be talking through all the details. So I'd recommend just dropping by tomorrow's stream, because tomorrow's going to be a big announcement stream if you want to learn more. Oh, Maddie, sometimes you're at somewhere and you get a great idea and you just got to make it work. I totally love that. Writing on receipt paper at a bar today, we made it work. Oh man, yeah, Courtney, thanks for that. You beat me to it. Bethany, like Maddie did that before. When I wrote up, it became a scroll, and then we feel even cooler. We're like, yeah, you know what? We like came up with this whole story idea on our scroll of finance. We turned this, we enchanted the scroll of finance into a parchment of writing. White's here, totally all good. We're gonna do another writing sprint, and the second one's actually gonna be a little longer. So you'll be able to join us for the second one. Depending on my time, I might be open to doing a third one. It just depends on timing for me. Because I got a lot to do. So we'll see. We'll see how we're feeling. Yeah, so Maddie said trying to figure out a list of punishments for my script yesterday, and all I have is forced to listen to Katy Perry. Oh, it's funny. Yeah, for anybody who missed out on yesterday's story and critique stream, there were some really good stories that we read on it. Anyone who missed it, it's linked down in the YouTube description down below. But it was a really good story and critique show. Well, you know what's funny, White? So you're like, I do have a book outline in the back burner for a fantasy romance, but it's a bit smutty. So we actually have a lot of writers in the community who like spice and like writing spicy scenes. When we had our major writing holiday writing event in December, the Right Nowathon, we actually had one of the authors. We had about 30 to 40 authors speaking, but one of them did a presentation about writing spice, and it was probably one of our more popular presentations. So you definitely have fellow writers in the community. If you've joined the Discord, White, there's actually a spice channel. There's like a spice channel in there to be able to talk about that and connect with the others. Ooh, let's see what we got. You're like, the only synopsis I have, it's about Maeve Silkleaf. Oh, okay, that's kind of a cool name. The half-elf bounty hunter and her voyage of discovery, where she comes of age, probably several times, and learns that the contents of a man's purse is definitely worth more than the contents of his breeches. I actually like that. That's actually really intriguing to me. That's interesting. Really, really interesting. Sounds like Bethany's your go-to White for any either for some torture research or maybe some spice over there. It cracks me up. Bethany's the real horror antagonist. Nice, Holly. Getting some actual words done. What's up? Nice, nice, nice. I absolutely love that, my friend. I got 0 words done, but I got a lot for administrative. I actually feel really good about the second sprint. So I was like, I feel like the second sprint's going to be pretty bomb.com. Yeah, spaghetti, sure, go for it. I would say just drop it in the chat. We totally get that with writers all the time. If they're like working on, always welcome too. We're always happy to get feedback. All right, let's see. So spaghetti, you wrote, as if the only guarantee things would turn out right was his to make. It's the end of a longer paragraph. Wondered if my vision made sense. As if the only okay, wait. So you just want to see if it made sense. As if the only guarantee things would turn out right was his to make. The only guarantee things would turn out right was his to make. I mean, based on what you shared, that part of the sentence is if the only guarantee things would turn out right was his to make. The only guarantee things would turn out right was his to make. I feel like that could probably be reduced a little bit in wordiness to make it a little clearer. And this is kind of me, line editor, coming out a little bit. As if the only guarantee things would turn out right. But it's also hard because we don't have the beginning of the sentence. So it's kind of hard for me to be able to give you a good recommendation. What I would say, Spaghetti, is give me the full sentence and I can kind of give you a better recommendation on structure or style. So because you're asking if your vision makes sense, but without seeing the first part of it, that's why it's a little hard for me to judge. I feel like just based on that fragment that you shared, it makes sense. I do feel that it could probably be reduced a little bit in wordiness, but I'm not sure how without seeing the rest of it. So yeah, absolutely. Like gotcha. So you just haven't don't have the full. Gotcha. That makes more sense. As if the only guarantee things would turn out right was his to make. And let's see. I think if I were to reword that, then knowing that you don't have right before that, I would say, uh, as if the as if the only guarantee things would turn out right was his to make. I think if I was to reword that, the only guarantee things would turn out all right was his decision alone. The only because okay, so I wouldn't do as if. I would go the only guarantee things would turn out all right was his decision alone. And I think I would do that with comma. So the only guarantee things would turn out all right, comma, was his decision alone. That's how I'd reword it. White's, I saw that as well. White Series said could change the end. It was down to a choice that was his to make. That would work as well, actually. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that was able to help out a little bit, my friend. You're, of course, always welcome to drop in friends, blah, blah, blah. You're always welcome to drop in sentence fragments. And by the way, anyone who's just popping into the stream, welcome. Or if you're watching on the replay, if you ever need help, like ideas, or maybe you're trying to figure out if something makes sense, whether it's sentences, brainstorming, you are always more than welcome to drop a comment. We have such a supportive community of writers, and we have writers all different genres and all different skill levels. So I always highly recommend if you're ever like struggling, like, yeah, always feel free to come here, hang out in the streams. We're here every day. Today is day 476 of consecutive writing streams. Or if you want to do something a little bit more in depth, then I definitely highly recommend the Discord. The Discord, there's a place for getting feedback as well, which makes it super easy. And if you're enjoying the stream, follow and subscribe. We're here every day with the Right Now community. We have literally everything. If you're looking for a writing community to help hold yourself accountable, to help improve on consistency, and kind of also maybe give you some like inspiration, motivation, this is the community to be a part of. We got daily writing sprint streams. We got the critique stream where we critique authors' stories. We have the podcast where we interview authors. We have holiday events like the Read Now Book Club. We have our upcoming Faded Fantasy Fiction Contest. This summer is going to be our Right Now Authors Retreat, and we got so much more. So make sure to follow and subscribe, and you'll be alerted when we go live. All right, my friends. So I wanted to make sure to throw that up. And with that note, let's get into another sprint. This one, we're going to go longer because it's a Sunday. We have a little bit more time, and I totally believe in us. I'm going to try to see if I can push myself through this. So I believe in us. We're going to go from 30 minutes to the second sprint being at 45 minutes. I'm intentionally going a little longer because it's we have the time and it's Sunday. So I'm going to adjust that. I totally believe in us. I think that we're all going to be able to be super productive this time around. All right. And I am ready on my end. Okay. And this time I can get into my work this time. So I'm actually ready to get into Crow. So whether you are brainstorming, writing, editing, author branding, revising, procrastinating, just hanging out, come join us because it's time to write now. Hey, also, I'm just going to I'm just going to quick pause real fast. I'm in a good vibe right now with where I'm at in the chapter, and I actually think I can finish this chapter, but I don't think I have enough time to do a full another sprint. So I'm just going to keep writing. I'm going to do a free write. Feel free to join me if you want to keep getting some writing in. Let's see, we'll go free write. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to keep writing. Feel free to keep working on your writing. I hope you were able to make some progress on that last writing sprint. Yeah, I'm in the good vibe. I feel like I might be able to finish this chapter. We'll see. All right. I'll throw on the music and we'll keep going. All right, my friends. So I was able to finally get through that chapter. I knew with where I've been at in the writing vibe this week, I really wanted to be able to get through the rest of that. So I'm really happy with the progress that I made. And I know a lot of you guys made progress as well. Sometimes when I start doing like a free write like that, I kind of just get into the vibe until I finish what I'm working on. Mm. Lillian, I saw you asked a great question. So Lillian, you asked, do you format before writing, during, or after? Format as in getting it ready for publication with page numbers, etc. And it looks like you asked, well, I noticed how Kaufman has his format with the title page, table of contents to make it easier to go from one chapter to another, page number, etc. I wondered if you did it from the start. So this is a great question, Lillian, if you're still here. Essentially, the way that I treat formatting in the rough draft, I didn't have any of that. I didn't have the title page and the table of contents. I added it in the second draft. The title page, like once again, it's not title page isn't really necessary in this early, but the title page was just me wanting to look at the title. The table of contents I added because I wanted it because it's easier to navigate around the document. From a structuring perspective, you don't actually need the title or you don't need the table of contents until after the story is developed until you get later into the process. But for me, because I mean, Scarecrow right now is about 800 pages, which once I cut it down to the 12-point font, it'll probably be about 700, 650, 700, give or take. It just makes it easier to navigate from chapter to chapter. And especially because I'm using Microsoft Word, which doesn't have a chapter by chapter feature. That's essentially why I chose to format it. But if you're using a writing program like a Pro Writing or Readsy or any number of other writing software, usually they have chapter features, which make it easier to navigate. So nice, White. Yeah, grabbed a cheeky 130 words tonight. Nice, nice, nice. I was like, let's see, how far did I get actually? I think I did a decent amount of words. Yeah, I was like, I think I got yes, I did about just under 1,000. So I got some good progress, which is nice. Nice, White. That's awesome that you've made some great progress. So I'm really, really happy for you. And on that note, we're going to be moving on to creative writing on the morrow. So I'll be back tomorrow for our update stream. So we're finally going to have the official announcement, update, and launch of the Faded Fantasy competition. So make sure to stick around. Make sure to come back tomorrow. That will be at the update stream will be at 3:30 Pacific, 3:45, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here as we're talking about our Monday update and Faded Fantasy, which everyone is super excited for. So definitely make sure to come back and join us tomorrow. And for our YouTube channel members, make sure that you join us after the update stream. I'll actually be doing a special YouTube channel member only live stream about how to make a flash fiction story, which I feel is very appropriate for the contest. So if you're not a YouTube channel member already, all you have to do is hit that join button link or down below the YouTube video. It's also linked down in the description. For only $4.99 a month, it's a great way to support the channel. Super cheap, costs less than you would spend on like a cup of coffee, right? With how prices are at. And then in addition, you'll get the icons, the emoji, and access to the channel member live stream, and then priority comment reply. So definitely make sure to become a channel member for that if you want to be involved. It's a great way for to be able to ask questions about whatever the topic is, which tomorrow it is about flash fiction. So that's what we got for tomorrow. I'm glad you guys were able to join me today for a good solid writing sprint. And if you enjoyed the stream, tap that like button on your way out. Help us show the algorithm that writing streams are cool. All right, my friends, it's been great. Thank you so much for joining me today. But unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers.
Right now.
Right
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right now.